Hello, everyone. This is Maya, the Untamed Oracle, and I'm here with your tarot reading for today. Today, the energy is very different from the readings that I've pulled the last couple days. I don't know if that means that I'm dealing with the same set of people or a different set of. I just noticed that it's extremely charged with a lot of sword energy, a lot of fear-based energy, which is very different from the sovereign energy that I had in the other readings. For this group, I see that the initial energy is the Seven of Wands. On the bottom of the deck was Temperance as the shadow energy, which is letting me know that you're in a state of protection, protecting yourself, establishing boundaries. The reason for this is that you're working to create a sense of peace in your life, to create a sense of balance. You're not quite there yet. You're still in the process of defending yourself. It seems like there's a lot going on around you, definitely a lot energetically. With this wand energy, what you're wanting and seeking is temperance. You're not in the temperance energy yet of having balance, but you're working towards that. Next, I have the Five of Swords that came out with the Eight of Cups. The King of Cups was behind the Eight of Cups. I saw it, so the energy was there, even though it was very much hidden behind that Eight of Cups. With this Five of Swords coming out, that's the card of conflict, battling, fighting, any kind of verbal altercations. The Eight of Cups on the bottom with the King of Cups as the shadow energy, it shows that something's ending. You're walking away from something that's causing a lot of mental strife and anxiety and a lot of chaos in your life at this time. You're in the process of leaving that. As I said before, you're in the process of creating boundaries for the sake of peace. And so this speaks to that process. The process gets very messy before it gets calm. There's a lot of chaos that happens before you get to the other side of the storm where there's quiet. And this is showing that you're in the midst of that, or you've recently come out of that. After that, 3 cards came out all together, the last 3. The Six of Swords, Page of Cups, and the Eight of Swords all came out together. And the first thing I did notice is that there is this progression with the Swords cards. You go from the 5 to the 6 and then last the 8. But I did notice that with the Six of Swords and 8 of Swords right in the middle is the Page of Cups. That's the card of apology in some cases. So you might be receiving an apology from somebody. Being that it's this Page of Cups energy, I'm not inclined to believe that it's an apology that matches the level of what's needed for the situation. This looks like someone that is clearly maybe apologizing just to continue to stay connected to you, but they're not really owning up to what they did to make things right, to create the chaos in your life. They're not really coming to you with full accountability, because the Page of Cups, it's the little cup. It's the child energy, someone who doesn't like being disconnected from you. They don't like having this tense energy between you two. However, I'm not inclined to really believe that they truly understand what was wrong in the way that they would need to understand it in order to not repeat this pattern once again. And the reason I definitely still believe that is because after it, I see this Eight of Swords energy, where if you've never seen the Eight of Swords card in tarot, it's a woman. She's bound and blindfolded, surrounded by swords. She feels trapped, but she's not really. It's almost like a willful trapping, if you may allow me to describe it that way. She's stuck in a situation that she doesn't want to be in, and she can get out of it, but she's not at the stage of getting out of it yet. However, like I said, this is a progression with the Swords energy, so it's just a stage. If you find yourself in this stage, give yourself grace. On the bottom of the deck was the Fool, and behind the Fool, the Queen of Pentacles was peeking out. That lets me know that this is a new endeavor. You're taking a leap into something new, whether it's leaving a situation behind or being in that same situation, but in a new energy, to wherein how you interact in the situation is different. If this is something where you're with someone who you intend on staying with and y'all are just having a rough patch, this is your stage of elevation. This person could at some point choose to elevate with you, or it could be a stage where you're elevating and they don't, and things end. In the sense of career, this could be the same thing. This could be that turning point where maybe you're in a career doing something that you don't feel like is aligned with where you want to go any longer. However, maybe you were given something small, like a small raise or some kind of small benefit in order to stay. So for the time being, you're staying until you figure out your next steps in that situation, whether you want to continue to stay and hold out for something major to come along or move on. What I'm seeing is that regardless to what you choose, the Queen of Pentacles, that nurturing mother energy, is in the background peeking through and inspiring your movements. You're seeking to be somewhere that feels right, feels nurturing to you. Although you are not quite in that energy right now with the Eight of Swords, that energy of the Queen of Pentacles is directing your thought process and your movements from this point and guiding you as far as what you decide to do moving forward. I also pulled 3 Divine Master cards along with this reading just to see what kind of energy is surrounding you as you make these decisions today. And I don't want to butcher any names, but the first card that I got is Kuthumi, Kuthumi. This card says that this person is the guide of the initiatory experience. It says your current situation is initiating your gifts. That is beautiful to hear. I do want to say before I move forward with the rest of the guides, on the bottom of the deck after I pull the cards for the guides was, once again, I apologize if I'm saying this name incorrectly, it's Mahavatar, possibly, Babaji. That's Mahavatar. I'll spell out these names in the description. This is the card of spiritual awakening. It's a feminine energy. It says interconnectedness, understanding the inner workings. And so that is the shadow energy that is at the basis of this reading. Spiritual awakening. That is awesome. And it also makes sense why there's all this swords energy, because when you're going through the process of awakening, it can be mentally taxing in some ways. And as you grow into yourself, a lot of things around you begin to shift. People that you were able to get along with, all of a sudden you're turning into a different version of yourself. Those relationships begin to change, and a lot of them fall away if the people that you were connected to prior to your awakening, if you're not able to grow safely around them, some of those relationships begin to fall away. Some of those careers begin to fall away. Hobbies, things that you liked prior, all of a sudden you no longer like them, and it's just part of the process. Give yourself grace. The next card I have here is El Moria, ELMORYA. It says, spiritual force field, protective light is surrounding you. You are safe. That's the beautiful thing to know, that even in the midst of the swords energy, the chaos, the conflict, the unrest, the fear, you're protected. This is just all a part of the process, especially when it comes to awakening. It's a total life change. It can be tough, it can be hard, but it's definitely better on the other side. You have protection. The last card here that I have is the Atlanteans. It says evolution, vibration, legacy, technology, progress, expect acceleration. This is awesome, and it's very clear in your reading that there's fast acceleration. You literally start out with the 5 of Swords and go to the 8 of Swords within 5 cards. So it's quick moving energy, which is very on point, being that we're in the age of Aquarius and the age of technology. So things move fast. All right, well, that is today's energy message from the Tarot. If it resonates with you, please let me know by liking this video. To make sure that you don't miss my next message, I think I'll probably go a little bit further into this later in the day to see what happens with this energy. Just make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you will get that notification. So until next time, walk gently, speak truthfully, and always live untamed.